بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وآله وصحبه أجمعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We were discussing earlier, we want to try to do it for a second, inshallah. We were discussing earlier, sometimes we, as people of the Sunnah, sometimes we forget to understand that the Sharee'ah has a heart, the heart of the Sharee'ah. And the heart of the Sharee'ah is that we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our creator. And a lot of times we find that people have issues submitting to the Sharee'ah because they don't love it. So how do you love something that you don't know, right? Does that make sense? The first part of the Sharee'ah that we have to love is the fact that Allah is the one who sent it. So how do we love Allah? It's a question. How do we love Allah? We talked about it one time before. Why do you love Allah, right? But now we're going to come at it from a different angle. As we mentioned before in the beginning, Ijlis Nu'min Sa'a, that the Sahaba used to say, let's sit for a minute and remember Allah and increase in our, well, Nu'min Sa'a, let's believe for an hour, increase in Iman in reality it means. So how do we do that? One of the great ways that we can do it, as Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, is that we ponder and reflect over the signs of Allah and His creation. As Allah says in the Quran, سَنُرِيهُمْ آيَاتِنَا فِي الْآفَاقِ وَفِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَتَّى يَتَبَيَّنَ لَهُمُ أَنَّهُ الْحَقُّ. Right? Allah says we're going to show them our signs over the horizon in themselves until they're able to realize or be certain of the fact that Allah is the truth. So my question goes to us all. Somebody, quiet. Thank you. My question goes to each one of us. Let's sit for a minute before we even start class. Because the thing that I fear for myself and for the rest of us all is that we learn, but we don't love what we're learning, so we don't apply it. We don't learn that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't learn how to love Allah, so we don't obey Him, right? We don't learn how great Allah is, so we don't stay away from what He prohibited us from, because it's just like, oh, I just disobeyed Allah. It's not a big deal, right? I remember I was young. I don't know if I should say this. Somebody might run with this the wrong way. But I remember when I was young, and I used to be with the Sufis. When I was young with the Sufis, I remember something that before Allah guided us, alhamdulillah, to the Sunnah, and for love of the Sunnah, I remember that when we were young with the Sufis, that they had an interesting aspect or interesting thing that they used to do. They used to talk about Allah. And it's something that we sometimes, as people of the Sunnah, we forget about that. We just think about the text. But even our ulama, like Shaykh Uthaymeen rahimahullah ta'ala, he said that we should ponder over the signs of ayat al-kawniyya, the signs of Allah's creation. Why do you think Allah tells us in the Quran, الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُمُ الْأَرْضَ فِرَاشًا وَالسَّمَاءَ بِنَاءً وَأَنزَلَ مِنَ السَّمَاءِ مَاءً فَأَخْرَجَ بِهِ مِنَ الثَّمَرَاتِ رِزْقًا لَكُمْ. Why did Allah tell us about these signs? لَا تَسْجُدُوا لِلشَّمْسِ وَلَا لِلْقَمَرِ وَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ الَّذِي خَلَقَهُنَّ إِن كُنتُمْ إِيَّاهُ تَعْبُدُونَ. Allah tells us the ayat, هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, right? Why do we think Allah tells us about all these great things that He's done? هُوَ الَّذِي جَعَلَ لَكُم مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا, right? All these different ayats, Allah said He created whatever's in the earth for all of us. That He's the one who made the ground, He made the earth like a bed for us to lay out on, and made the sky a ceiling, right? Why do you think Allah told us all this? So that we ponder and reflect on how great it is, the creation, how scientifically sound the creation of Allah. Think about it for a second. We were talking about it earlier. Think about it for 1 second, that if Allah decided to hold the sun from rising back for even 3 minutes, how it would affect us, right? If He held the sun from rising for 3 minutes, how it would throw our whole day off, right? Because everyone expects the sun to rise at a certain time, right? We become accustomed to expecting everything to be in correct order. But who keeps it in order? It's Allah. And Allah never fails in this at all. That the sun rises at a certain time and it goes up and it follows the same habit and it sets at a certain time. What if Allah decides not to do it? And then when the night comes and you see how, subhanAllah, how what if Allah caused the night to just come suddenly? Everyone will be scared. But when the night comes, it lets us know it's coming, right? So we adjust to it. Even our eyes are able to adjust to it better. Because if you just turn the light switch off immediately, your eyes go into shock. Or if you turn the lights on immediately, but Allah lets the sun rise gradually so that our eyes and our body can adjust to it. Everything in the creation of Allah is in order. So if we ponder over this more, we gain love of Allah. And we gain ta'aleem of Allah, how great Allah is. And it will help us to want to obey Allah. It'll help us to want to stay away from Allah's prohibitions. So what we're going to do for a second, inshallah, we're going to practice this, right? We're going to think, each one of us are going to think about some of the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and why is it so great. And what do we learn from that sign? It's simple. Children can do it. You say, wow, look at the tree, how the tree, whatever you can think about with the signs of Allah. We have to begin to love Allah again. A lot of times we learn and learn and learn. We memorize and we memorize and we memorize, but we don't love Allah properly. That's why we don't have the actions that we should have. And that's why you see sometimes that you see some of the people like the people that we say mubtadi'een, and we see they have better actions than us, right? I remember when we used to go with the tablighi jama'ah, these people have way better akhlaq and better actions. They have more ibadah. Why? They have more of a love for Allah, even though they might not have knowledge. So we're lacking in love where they're lacking in knowledge. We have to increase in our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to balance out the knowledge that we have in regards to the Sharee'ah. And hopefully that will grant us the ability to do more actions, to be more eager to please Allah. Right? You give an example, right? If you have a favorite teacher or you have a parent, you love your parent a lot, right? You do everything you can to make them happy. So how come we don't do the same thing for Allah? To do everything that we can to make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala happy. So let's start. Khadar, what do you have for us? Give us something that we can ponder about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and we can increase our iman by thinking about it. You don't have nothing? Huh? Pass you on? No, we're not passing nobody. Nobody gets passed today. We'll come back to you. Go ahead.
Say that again.
Tell us some of the signs of Allah and His creation that we can think about and reflect on that will help our iman raise.
The sky.
Tell me about the sky. What is it about the sky? Is it just the sky?
No,
What about the sky? Look at it. It's right there. Look at it. Yeah. Tell me about what is it that? What is it that makes you what?
How sometimes has clouds, sometimes clear.
Sometimes it has cloud, but what does that do for you?
It thinks like to think that Allah controls though.
Allah controls it. Okay, I'll take it.
The rain and
I'll take it. So if you think about it, we say, what about the cloud? What does the clouds tell us too? Because we can see when it's clear sky, sometimes the sun is too bright and sometimes the cloud goes and blocks a little bit of the sun so that we can have a little bit more shade. It's benefits and all that Allah gives for us, right? Let's go. What do you have?
Different creatures that's on the earth.
What about it? A lot. Be specific. We want to be specific right now.
Not specific. Not one specific thing, but there's creatures that we don't know about, so we find out about a lot of new stuff that we don't know about.
That's not specific enough. There's a lot of creatures that we don't know about. What about those creatures that we don't know about? What about those creatures that we see and we do know about that increases our iman?
How like the humans are different language, colors.
Humans are different languages and colors, but they're all humans, right?
Yeah.
And Allah gave all of them the ability to speak different languages and understand each other.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. What do you guys have? What do you have? Anybody here? Alaikum salam. What do you guys have? Huh? What about the rain? Huh? What about the rain? That the rain comes down from the sky, but do you know that the rain doesn't just come down from the sky? The rain is a whole cycle of water. One raindrop, you know the cycle of a drop of water, what it goes through? It's amazing if you ponder it, right? So I'll hold your shoes. Okay. Thank you. I'll keep them here, okay? No problem. So do you know the cycle that a raindrop goes through sometimes? It might start in a lake, then go to it might start in a lake, then go to what's bigger than a lake? The river? No, it starts from a river or a spring, then goes to the lake, then the lake goes to ocean. That's how it goes, right? Then the ocean, then sometime when it reaches the ocean, then that water gets taken up back up to the sky. Did you know that? And then it comes back down, it goes up to the cloud, and it comes back down again, purified from, because when the water goes up, it comes up from the ocean with salt in it. Did you know that? Because the ocean is salty. But when the cloud gets it, the cloud is too light to hold the salt. So the salt comes down and the water stays up. Did you know that? So this is a water filtration Allah has created in nature, that Allah has created and kept in order. You have cookies, mashallah. You come with gifts and sandals and everything. Alhamdulillah. I think maybe, I don't know. Okay, we'll keep it here then. No problem. So, imagine that, subhanAllah, it goes up, it comes back down, and when it comes back down, it comes back as water clean. No more salty water. Water that you can drink, right? It's amazing. So again, we want to be in the habit, inshallah, of pondering over the creation of Allah. It's not good if we can't think about the creation of Allah. That we struggle, we say, I don't really have nothing. That's a major thing that's lacking in our action and our belief, if we don't understand how great Allah is and the things that He created. How minute the detail is in the creation of Allah. That's the difference, because all of us can do a little sloppy, put something together real sloppily, right? But Allah put everything together and it works in the best fashion, and minute details that Allah has put in His creation, it can't be done by anyone else. And Allah created without any pattern before it. It's not like you're working on an assembly line and they give you a model, say, make this again. Allah brought it into existence when there was nothing to bring as a model or as a form. This all came from nothing. So may Allah grant us the ability to ponder over His signs, so that can be a cause for us to increase in Iman. Today, we're still in Sharh Kitab al-Iman min Sahih al-Bukhari. We're reading from Kitab al-Iman from Sahih al-Bukhari. We're on the chapter of Babun ad-Deenu Yusrun. That the deen is easy. The chapter of the deen is easy. What does that mean, the deen is easy? What does that mean, the deen is easy? Huh? What'd you say?
Easy to learn.
It's easy to learn?
To act.
The deen is easy to learn.
And to act it. Like,
Whoa, let's look at this first. The deen is easy to learn. Well, I'm pondering something first. The deen is easy to learn. The deen is easy to learn. It's fundamental issues, right? The things that we're obligated to know is easy to learn, for sure. But then, of course, there's some things that go above that people specialize in, and everyone's not going to get that, right? And that's the level of the ulama. And that's why the ulama are so special, because they've dedicated their lives to learning those things that all of us are not obligated to know. But the obligatory things about the deen is easy. It's easy to learn the salah. It's easy to learn how to pay zakat. It's easy to learn how to make hajj, those type of things. It's easy. You're right. To learn the deen is easy. Alhamdulillah. Practicing the deen is easy, you said, right? Yeah. Is it? Is it easy?
Depends on the ability of the person.
It depends on the ability of the person. What do you ladies say? Because the ladies have the most complaints most of the time. Is practicing the deen easy? It's not easy? It's a question. Don't be nervous now. Is practicing the deen easy? It depends on your iman. Tayyip, we can go with that. That's true. It does depend on how a person's iman is at the time. Now we're going to discuss how it be. Not only we're going to discuss, we're going to take this chapter a little differently than most people will take it. We're going to discuss how the deen is easy. And now also, because you guys said that, we're going to discuss how to make it easy to practice. We see the two levels that we're going to deal with. We're going to explain that the deen in reality is easy. And if it's not easy for you, we're going to explain how to make it easy. Right? Does that make sense? طيب. So the chapter starts off وقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أحب الدين إلى الله الحنيفية السمحة. The most beloved deen to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Hanafiyya as-Samha. So the first thing we have to understand is, what is al-Hanafiyya? What is al-Hanafiyya? Anybody know? What's Hanafiyya?
Not to worship anything except Allah, and to reject anything else, and to reject worshiping anything else that's not Allah.
Easily put, that's simply put, that's what Hanafiyya is. First thing we know is, what is Hanafiyya? It's the way of Ibrahim. Hanafiyya is Millata Abina Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, right? Allah Ta'ala tells us in the Quran many times, what? وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ وَيُقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَذَلِكَ دِينٌ قَيِّمًا. Simple, right? Allah says you were not ordered except to do what? وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, except to worship Allah. مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ, making your deen sincerely for Allah, not doing it for any other reason, not doing it because I'm Arab, so I'm Muslim. No, who cares, right? I'm African, so who cares? I'm American, so who cares? I'm Turkish, so who cares? No, I'm doing it because I love Allah and I know it to be the truth. Not because, oh, my parents, they told me that I'm Muslim and this is what, no. That's not going to get you nowhere in Yawm al-Qiyamah. That I'm Somali, so I'm Muslim. 99% of Somalia is Muslim, so I'm Muslim. No, who cares? None of that matters, right? What matters is that I worship Allah, because I'm not accountable for nobody else. So Allah says, وَمَا أُمِرُوا إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ مُخْلِصِينَ لَهُ الدِّينَ حُنَفَاءَ. So now we go, Allah says حُنَفَاءَ. Hanif means al-mal ila shay an shay. That you incline like this. If you're going like this, I'm inclining to something, right? But I'm also doing what? Getting away from something else, right? Does that make sense how that works? I'm going this way. They say, oh, what is he? See, some people, they look at things only one way. They say, oh, he's trying to reach something. But I might be trying to get away from something also, right? So that's Hanifiyya. That Ibrahim alayhi, he was leaning to go only towards Allah. But at the same time, he was getting away from everything else, right? He was getting away from all the shirk. Huh? No. I don't know. I'm not airdropping nothing.
Somebody's airdropping something.
Maybe somebody's trying to airdrop something. We'll fix it. Stop it. I think it stopped. What? What?
No, they stopped airdropping.
No, I think the recording stopped.
No, it's not.
Because the light went on. So why the light go on?
Because they was trying to airdrop something.
Oh, okay. Tell you. So the Hanifiyya is that. So what are we trying to incline towards is the question. What are we leaning toward? What are we trying to get towards is the question. Allah. And what are we getting away from? Everything that's worship besides Allah. Even ourselves. Do we understand that? We are trying to get to Allah. And how did Ibrahim see? This is the problem. Sometimes we look at the deen and we look at it in parts instead of looking at it as one whole deen. Right? If we look at the deen as one whole deen, we'll understand a lot more. Right? What did Allah say about Ibrahim? وَإِذَا ابْتُلِيَ إِبْرَاهِيمَ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ وَإِذَا ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ, right? Allah says that He ordered Ibrahim with some commandments, some words, فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ. And He did what? He completed all of them. Some of the ulama, they say, what were the commandments that Ibrahim was given? They say some of them was the fitrah, the natural things, keeping the nails cut. This is what Allah, the ulama mentioned about this, about Ibrahim. They said keeping the nails cut, shaving the, or making sure there's no hair in the places where there shouldn't be hair at, right? Circumcision, these type of things. These are the things that Ibrahim was commanded with. That's the easy deen of Ibrahim. He's commanded with making sure that the nails stay cut, right? Can I say that again? That the nails stay cut, right? That they make sure that there's no hair where there shouldn't be hair at. That they have certain, these are the things, right? As well, I said he was commanded with slaughtering his own son. What do we learn about that? What do we learn about that?
Everybody will be tested.
Everyone's going to be tested, for sure. Allah Ta'ala said that Ibrahim was his Khalil. You know what a Khalil means?
Close.
It means more than just close, right? What does Khalil mean?
Someone who's beloved.
Your most beloved one, right? The one, stop. The most beloved one is Khalil, right? So much so that the Prophet ﷺ said, I don't have a Khalil in this dunya. That's how serious the Khalil is. He says, but if I would have a Khalil, it would be Abu Bakr. Right? And we know how close him and Abu Bakr were. Abu Bakr hid with him in the cave when they were chasing him out of Medina, out of Mecca. Abu Bakr gave all of his money up for the sake of the da'wah, right? They were like this. But he said that even Abu Bakr is not my Khalil. That's how serious this Khalil is, right? He said, I don't have a Khalil in this dunya. But if I did have one, it would be Abu Bakr. So Ibrahim was the Khalil of Allah. Right? The beloved one of Allah. How did he reach this level? He turned away from everything else for the sake of Allah. Even his own self. Where do we get this example from? What do we say about his own son? He was ordered to slaughter his own son. Not just any son, his firstborn son. Do you know what that means? Go ahead. To slaughter your firstborn son? To be able to sacrifice being with your firstborn son for the sake of Allah? Imagine you have a child, you've been wanting to have a child. Remember, Ibrahim didn't have Ismail for a long time, so he was old. He's been wanting to have a child for so long, and finally he was given a child. And then once he was able to enjoy time with that child, right? Not only was he told to go take the child and put the child in a faraway valley, he sacrificed again, right? He was told to leave and abandon his child. Allah commanded him to abandon his child in a valley that was uninhabited. And what did he do? He did it. What did his wife say? What did the mother of Ibrahim say? Hajar. What did she say? Quiet. What's the problem? What did Hajar say? And look at not just Ibrahim, but the type of people that surrounded Ibrahim. Pay attention to this, right? Like minds attract like people. Should be, right? Look at the type of people that surrounded Ibrahim. His wife Hajar. What did she say? When Ibrahim turned away, he didn't even say anything to her. He left her there, gave her a little bag of dates and water, and he turned around and left. There's nothing to say. Allah told me to do. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Right? That's real ibadah. What did Hajar say to Mother Ibrahim? I mean Ismail? She said, one, she knew her husband. Right? She said, Ibrahim, I mean, what's going on? You would never abandon us like this. What happened? She said, did Allah tell you to do this? He said, yes. That was all that she had to say after that. There was nothing else. So she submitted to the law of Allah along with her husband. Why? Because she understood that if Allah said to do this, it's what's best for us, not what I want. I don't want to be left in this valley abandoned with my newborn son. But if Allah said to do it, I know it's what's best for us. That's Hanifiyya. Turning away from everything else except for the sake of Allah. Again, Ibrahim was told to slaughter his son once he came back into his life and he was able to experience some time with him and to enjoy him. You know, scientifically, when they say that a father doesn't really start to love the child. They love him in the beginning, but they increase in love once the child is able to do things with them. There's a difference between, and that's another difference between men and women. The woman starts to love the child as soon as the child is in her belly. She has an automatic, excuse me, that's not even a word. Automatic, it is a word, right? Automatic. She has an automatic, right, connection to the child. Physically, hormones. Her hormones are connected to the child, right? So immediately she starts to love the child, right? The father, he doesn't start to actually, he loves the child, but he doesn't have that straight connection the same way, or it increases when the child is able to do things. He's able to go out with the father, come to the masjid with the father, work with the father, go and do things with the father. Now the father starts to have more of an attachment to the child. That's one of the benefits the ulama say about why Allah says that he allowed the child to reach, right, that certain age. Now Ibrahim's attachment to the child has grown. And then Allah says what? He tells him in a dream to slaughter your child, the one that you've grown in this attachment to. And what did Ibrahim do? He went to slaughter the child. So Allah has prepared Ibrahim, right, to be in a situation where he has shown that his love for Allah is above everything and anything else. That's the Hanafiyya. That when we put in our heart the love of Allah above everything else, even our own selves. Right? Does that make sense? Are we all on the same page now? We understand Hanafiyya? That's why Allah tells what to be millat Ibrahim. Allah tells us in the Quran, follow the way of Ibrahim. If you want to be successful, Allah says, وَمَنْ يَرْغَبُ عَنْ مِلَّةِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ إِلَّا مَنْ سَفِيَ نَفْسَهُ وَلَقَدْ اصْطَفَيْنَاهُ. And Allah says, we chose him in the dunya. Who turns away from the way of Ibrahim except one who wants to treat his soul selfishly? I mean, foolishly. Who wouldn't want to, how could that not be praiseworthy to turn away from everything else except for Allah? Does that make sense? So that's the Hanafiya. And somehow means that the deen is easy. Not only is it noble, but it's a deen that has ease. Now we ask the question, right? Why in this hadith does it say, Inna habba deen ilallah? What does the hadith say? Inna ahabba deenu ilallah, ahabba deeni ilallah, al-Hanafiyyatu al-Samha. What do we learn about that here?
The
Hanafiya is easy. We learn some things here though. When it says ahabba deen, that tells us there's other deens, right? When it's talking about deens here, they're talking about all the deens that came from the heavens. The deen that was given to Musa, the deen that was given to Isa, the deen that was given to all the different prophets and messengers, right? All of them were Muslims during their time, right? We understand that. Every deen that came from the heavens, these people were Muslims. But what's the difference between the deen of Ibrahim and the deen of the other people? Let's think, mashallah. I know there's some fuqaha here. Where are the Ahl al-Fiqh? Where are the thinkers at? What is the difference? Come on, subhanAllah. What was the difference between the deen of Ibrahim, the laws given to Ibrahim, and the laws that were given to the other people who followed the messengers, the prophets and messengers?
He wasn't responsible for all people.
No, that's not it. I'm going to tell you. In the other deens, right, there was mashaqqa. There was difficulty, right? There was some hardship in the law of Musa, right? That's why Isa ﷺ was sent to come and do what? Make some ease in it, right? Release some of the restrictions that were in the Jewish law. Don't you know how restrictive the Jewish law is? It's not as easy as our deen, alhamdulillah. So as we see Allah Ta'ala, also look at what happened what was Tawbah for the Jews? They had to kill each other. We make Tawbah, we just say astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayh 100 times inside a day. That's all the Muslim has to say, right? So look, we say, Ya qawmi, Allah Ta'ala says, Ya qawmi innakum zalamtum anfusakum باتخاذ العجل فتوبوا إلى بارئكم فقتلوا أنفسكم ذلكم خير لكم عند بارئكم. Allah says that Allah told the Jews, Ya qawmi innakum zalamtum. Musa was supposed to say to the Jews, oh my people, indeed you wronged yourselves by taking that calf as to worship. فَتُوبُوا إِلَى بَارِكُمْ. So seek Tawbah, make Tawbah to your Creator by doing what? فَقْتُلُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ. By killing each other. SubhanAllah, that was their Tawbah. As well, we know Allah Ta'ala says, فَبِظُلْمٍ مِّنَ الَّذِينَ هَادُوا حَرَّمْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ طَيِّبَاتٍ وَحِلَّتْ لَهُمْ. Another thing that happened to the Jews, Allah says, because of their transgression, we made haram upon them from amongst the good things, مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ, what used to be permissible for them. Right? This was a punishment to them because of their inad, their stubbornness, their rejection of the law. Allah would make haram to them those things that He used to make permissible to them. So that's the difference between our deen and their deen. Ibrahim didn't have those type of punishments come into his deen, where the people were being restricted or given some difficulties because of their rejection of the truth in that manner. So our deen, alhamdulillah, is the deen of Ibrahim, al-Hanafiyyah. As Allah Ta'ala says, وَمَا جَعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الدِّينِ مِنْ حَرَجٍ. Allah says He's not placed in your deen any difficulty. مِلَّةَ أَبِيكُمْ Ibrahim. It's the path of your father of Ibrahim. Allah says, مَا يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ لِيَجْعَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِنْ حَرَجٍ وَلَكِنْ يُرِيدُ لِيُطَهِّرَكُمْ وَلِيُتِمَّ نِعْمَتَهُ عَلَيْكُمْ. And Allah says He did not intend, Allah does not want to place upon you any difficulty, but He wishes to purify you and to complete His favor upon you. That's for us, right? So this is the deen al-Hanafiyyah, al-Hanifiyya. It's easy somehow. Allah doesn't want to cause us any hardship. There's no difficulty in our deen. Our deen, alhamdulillah, is easy for us. Now let's look at it. What does our deen entail? What is our deen? What is Islam? What did the Prophet ﷺ say Islam is? Bunya al-Islam ala khams, shahadatu la ilaha, right? Look at these five. Look at the most important actions in Islam, these 5 pillars, right? The shahada, the salah, fasting, hajj, zakat. What's difficult about any of that? How many times a day do we pray? 5 times. How long does it take in reality? Even if you want to really like elongate it, let's say you want to go long, right? Maybe 10, 15 minutes for Fajr, right? 10, 15 minutes for Dhuhr. And we're talking about elongating it, right? Asr, it's supposed the middle slide should be shorter, so you do it 5, 10 minutes, right? Maghrib, supposed to keep it short, 5, 10 minutes. Isha, depending on the time of night, you want to keep it shorter, not to burden the people. 5, 10. Look at all of that, right? That you don't want to burden the people. It's too late, right? What's difficult about any of that? You fast. How many times a year are you obligated to fast? Once for 30 days out of 365 or 350 days, right? Imagine if Allah told us to fast all year long. Or what if somebody wanted to, oh, subhanAllah, our deen is easy. The zakat is what? 2.5% of your wealth, right? If you have $100, that's what? $2.50? Who doesn't have that to give? Hajj is only once a year. If you have the money and the ability to go. I mean, once a lifetime, if you have the money and the ability to go. What's difficult about Islam? Tell me, somebody. The obligations in Islam are definitely not difficult. There's no difficulty at all in the obligations of Islam. Allah has made it easy for us. But it doesn't mean, as some people mistakenly believe, when they say ad-deen al-yusr. Some people, some foolish-minded people, they say, oh, brother, ad-deen al-yusr. You say, ya akhi, come pray in Jama'ah. They say, brother, don't you know the deen is easy? Why are you making it difficult on us? That's not what it means, right? It means that the laws that were given in Islam are already easy enough for you to do. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah doesn't burden the soul with more than it can handle. And wus'aha means that it's made easy and wide for him. Allah hasn't put anything upon us except that he already made it wide and easy for us to do it. Right? No. They say, oh, covering is hard. This is what the ladies say sometimes, right? They say, oh, wearing hijab is difficult. But we say, subhanAllah, I remember, I'm taking this as some of the responses that my sisters used to give. They said that sometimes the ladies would come and say, oh, aren't you guys hot wearing all that stuff? And they would say, aren't you hot with all that weave on your head? Right? You know what weave is? You guys know what weave is? The fake hair that the kuffar women wear, right? That's hot, right? You got 5 pounds of somebody else's hair on your head, right? That's hot. Or do you not really realize, and I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't realize, that in the summertime, the more clothes you wear, depending on the fabric, keeps you cooler than wearing less clothing. How do we know that? Ask the people who live in the desert. Do you ever see people in the desert wearing nothing? You know why not? Because the sun, that makes you hotter. You actually stay cooler by putting clothes on. So in reality, the girl who's walking down the street naked, she's hot than the Muslim girl. And then here goes another benefit, right? Here's another benefit. We say, tell the girls to stay home then if they're hot. They don't have to come outside. They don't got to walk up and down the street like the Kafir girl. Walk up and down the street, right? Or if she wants to go outside, hopefully she has a brother, uncle, nephew, husband, whatever. Put her in the car. Put the AC on, brother. Right? Or drive fast so the wind can hit. What's hard? There's no difficulty. Right? We say we protect the lady. Listen, sis, you don't have to walk. Either you don't go outside, right? Or you wait for your brother, uncle to come and get you. Chauffeur you around. It's easy. Yes, maybe the man has to go outside and walk because he doesn't have nobody to take him. But okay, that's a different situation. That's his burden. But the deen is easy. Right? SubhanAllah. I remember when we was in Medina and it's hot in Mecca, Medina. I remember the lady that said, what? SubhanAllah, since I'm wearing the niqab keeps, because you know when it's so hot that the heat comes to your face like this. And I said, subhanAllah, right? And you know, you want to put clothes on. So you want to, you know, I see the benefit of wearing a ghutra, right? So you got to you put it over your head and you want to wrap it around because you want to keep the little coolness inside of you. And even the lady said that it benefited them, what? When they could cover their face so that the heat of it doesn't come on their face. So where's the difficulty? Where's the difficulty in covering? Then we say, oh, don't cover like that. Don't wear the tight stuff. Well, yeah, that's better for you. That's actually one thing that we were talking about earlier also, is that one of the problems we have is that we don't love the Sharee'ah. We know it, but we don't love it. How do we learn to love the Sharee'ah is the question. You learn the benefit of it. Allah said for the man to grow his beard, right? What's the benefit of a man growing his beard?
Doesn't look like a girl.
That's a huge benefit for me, right? For any real man, right, that he doesn't look like a woman. I don't want to look like no woman, right? That's a huge benefit to me. That if Allah gives me a beard, that you know when you see me, that's a man, right? Also, there's some other benefits I'm forgetting right now, but there's something else that I remember reading before about the benefits of a beard. Somebody,
In the cold.
the cold, what does it do?
Keeps you warm in the cold.
Keeps you warm in the cold?
Snow. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
only one I know.
Keeps you cold, keeps you warm in the cold. Alhamdulillah. Okay, but then again, right? That's a huge benefit. I don't want to look like a woman, right? Now, what benefit does a lady have for covering properly? She's not harassed, right? That's a huge benefit for a woman with a clean heart. If a woman has a clean heart, she doesn't want to be harassed every time she goes outside. People, hey, yo, shorty, yo, come here, let me talk. Is that what you guys want this? What type of woman with a clean heart will want to be harassed every time she just wants to go to the store to get something? She doesn't want people to say, yo, come here, let me talk. No. So she covers in a way where she doesn't show her body, where her zina is not being shown and known to everyone, right? She doesn't want her zina to be shown and known. Why are we guys talking? Right? So she covers it up. She doesn't wear tight things around her waist to accentuate some of her zina. She leaves it nice and flowing so nobody knows nothing about her. Right? That's how the woman is if she has the clean heart. She doesn't want people to know her like that. That's a secret. So that's a huge benefit for the woman that Allah tell her to cover in this manner like that. So she's not harassed. So that she remains a secret, only known for the time that she should be known. Correct? Praying in jama'ah for the men. What benefit do we have? What benefit greater than one Allah says that you get to see your brothers? How is that not a huge benefit when the Prophet ﷺ said what? لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحابوا. You will not enter the Jannah until you believe, and you won't believe until you have love for each other. What greater way to have love for each other if you come and pray together? That's a huge benefit, right? For the Sharee'ah, so if we learn to love the Sharee'ah by getting to know the benefits of why Allah told us to do it this way and not do it another way, right? Then we'll begin to love Islam. And we'll love to apply Islam, right? We won't hate anything from Islam because we will understand and know that everything that Allah has told us to do is what's best for us as human beings. But we have difficulty applying the law of Allah because we don't love Allah. In actuality, no one who loves Allah will hate what Allah tells them to do. That's the reality. Is that not true? If you love someone so much, right? I remember someone mentioned, they said, if you love someone, you love everything connected to them too, right? Is that true? They say, man, I love her ugly toe. I say, is it really ugly? It's really ugly. But, mashallah, I love that ugly toe. Why? Because you love the person who possesses the toe, right? Can you ever see anything ugly about your mother? What could be ugly about your mother? Nothing, right? Because you love her. The father, yeah, you might, because you know it's a different love that you have for the father. You say, right? But that's real love. So if you love Allah, how can you hate anything that Allah tells you to do? How can you hate anything that Allah tells you to do? How can you not like it? That's a question. How can you not like something Allah told you to do? It's impossible. The problem is, again, our hearts are not filled with love of Allah in reality. Our hearts don't really see Allah as being great. Right? Allah is not the greatest thing to us in our minds in reality. Allah is not the most beloved thing to us in reality if we don't love His law. Right? We should be happy. You should be uncomfortable doing anything that Allah told you not to do. Oh, I love Allah. How can I do it like that? Why would I want to do it? Right? How can I purposely turn on music that's telling me to commit sins that Allah hates? Right? How can I do that? I turn on Drake and say, and then I listen to, do this sin, do that sin again, do that sin again. And I say, I love Allah. Can that be possible, Zubair? It's impossible, right? So we have to really fill our hearts with love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we won't like to disobey Allah. So again, there's nothing in the deen of Allah that is difficult. Now, again, what I was talking about earlier is that sometimes people, they come and they say that the deen is easy, so I'm going to do what I want to do. Right? They say, no, you're making the deen difficult. I don't have to accept that the deen is easy. Why do I have to cover up? Deen is easy, brother. Don't, you know, there's other things that we got to do. We don't have to do it like that. Right? Because the deen is easy. I don't have to grow my beard, brother. The deen is easy. Okay, I'll pray, but I'll pray tomorrow. I'll make it up, brother. It's not a big deal. The deen is easy. Sometimes a person does the actual obedience, and sometimes they do the sins, and they say, you know what, it's okay because the deen is easy. That's not what's meant here. That's not the goal of what it means by the deen is easy. Okay? Let's make sure that we understand that point clearly. That the deen is not easy for you to do whatever you want to do and choose. It's easy by how Allah sent it down to His Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Are we clear on that point? طيب. The next hadith. حدثنا عبد السلام بن مطهر قال حدثنا عمر بن علي عن معن بن محمد الغفاري عن سعيد بن أبي سعيد المقبري عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال إن الدين يسر ولن يشاد الدين أحد إلا غلبه فسددوا وقاربوا وأبشروا واستعينوا بالغدوة والروحة والشيء من الدلجة. It's a beautiful hadith. This is one of the most amazing hadiths that I ever remember. Why? Because it gives you so much good time. It gives you so much love for Islam. This hadith is one of those hadiths that if you understand it properly, it gives you so much love for Islam because you realize Allah did not send Islam down to kill us. As some people, they think that, oh, you're trying to kill me with that Islam. You're trying to, oh, it's too much. You're always talking about Islam. Allah didn't send it down to burden us. He sent it down for us to become better. That you won't find any happiness that you'll find in Islam. Wallahi, that's the truth. People are looking all over the world right now for some type of fake happiness. That if they just submit to Islam properly, they'll be the happiest person on earth. I'm telling you, wallahi, that you will not find any happiness that you'll find in this deen. There's nothing else you have to look for. Why are you looking for something, searching for something that Allah has already given us? It's right here. Just take it. Just take it. So why do we say in this hadith? Allah says, the Prophet ﷺ says in this hadith, on authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, Inna deen that the deen is easy. The deen is easy. We just explained that, right? So do we have to go back and do this again? That there's nothing in the deen, in the Sharee'ah, what Allah has legislated that's difficult to do. There's nothing in the Sharee'ah that Allah has legislated for us to do that's difficult for us to accomplish. Especially from the obligations, right? Especially from the things He told us to stay away from. Do you realize that the things that are haram are so few? We don't even realize that in reality. Right? Think about it. How many things are really haram in the world? Huh? Name a few things that's haram. Huh? What do you guys say? Khamr, drinking khamr. Who needs it? Do you need it to survive? Okay, what else is haram? Drugs, same thing. Do we need drugs? No. Pork. Do you need pork? Have you ever ate pork before? Are you alive? Alhamdulillah. You're healthy, right? You eat good every day? So we don't need it. What else is haram? Tell me something else that's haram. Huh? Tight clothes. Do you need tight clothes? You sure? The girl said it, so I'm asking, are you sure you girls don't need tight clothes? Because sometimes you act like you do. Huh? Do you need tight clothing? I'm asking. Can you live without tight clothing? Can you live without putting those ropes around your waist? Do we need them? Reality, we don't need it, right? Do you need that attention, that haram attention from men? Is that what you really want? The guys will be like, ooh, look at such and such. Because that's what's going to happen, right? Is that what you want? What else is haram? Tell me some haram stuff. Oh, you're going to open up the book of Khadar, right? That's smart. But the reality is, even if you look at this book, there's 70-something major sins that are mentioned here. And of a whole dunya, Allah says what? Allah says what? هُوَ الَّذِي خَلَقَ لَكُم مَّا فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا. Allah said He's the one who created whatever's in the earth for you. To be for you to utilize. We have the whole earth to find and to have fun with and do whatever we want to do. Only a few things Allah has made haram. Right? Look at the example. Sometimes we wonder, we say, how did Adam? But the problem with us is this is what? That we focus on the haram. That all we see is the haram. That's all we want to do. Right? It's like the example we take from our father Adam, right? Adam had the whole Jannah. Except for one tree. Shaitan came and made him focus on that one tree. That's how we are as human beings. That we have the whole Jannah of the earth. But we only focus on the haram things. So much halal that can be done. But we only see the haram. And the haram are the exceptions. It's the less of the two. There's so much halal you can have. Right? Allah made zina haram. But He told you to marry. Do you need to commit zina? No. You can get married. Allah made music haram. Do you need music? We have the Quran. Who needs music when you have the Quran? Right? So the sins are not a lot. The deen is easy. So somebody said earlier, so now we go back to the conversation we had earlier. Is Islam hard? Who said Islam was hard earlier? Now tell me again that Islam is hard and tell me why. Is Islam hard? Who said it was hard earlier? I forgot who it was. Was it you? Was it you? Who said it was you? Who said it was hard earlier? One of you. Oh, they said according to your iman, right? Somebody said according to your iman, if it's your iman. So in reality, Islam is not hard, right? Yes, the person's iman sometimes makes them not want to submit. But that's them, not Islam. Do we see the point again? There's nothing hard about Islam. It's the individual who makes Islam hard. Right? By not submitting. How do you make Islam easy? By submitting to it firstly. By just submitting. Allah says what? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis-silmi kaf. The way that you make Islam easy is by submitting to all of Islam. Not picking and choosing. It's like going into a swimming pool or water. If you put your toe in the water, guess what's going to feel cold, right? But if you jump all the way in the water, you're going to adjust. Your body will say, oh, it'll have a shock at first, but then you will adjust to it. Same thing with Islam. If you jump completely in and you stop having hang-ups, you know what this ayah was revealed about? I'm going to talk about it. And this is why we find Islam hard. What was this ayah revealed about? Does anyone know? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu udkhulu fis-silmi kafa. Oh, you who believe, enter into Islam complete. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا خُطُوَاتِ الشَّيْطَانِ. Don't follow the footsteps of shaitan. One of the ulama that said this was revealed about some of the Jews of Medina. They used to have a certain practice that they used to do, right? Before they became Muslim. This was their practice. And after they became Muslim, they said, okay, well, we can't do that, but we're going to do something similar to that because that's what we used to do. That's our thing. And Allah said, stop playing around. What happened? Allah said, stop playing around, right? Enter into Islam completely. Don't feel that you still have to do your old Jewish stuff in Islam. Leave off talking in the class, right? If you just don't talk in the class, I won't yell. Does that make sense? Same thing with Islam. If you just do the commands, right, it becomes easy for you. If you just jump into it, it becomes easy. And you'll be okay. Our problem is that we still want to worry about, I still want to do a little bit of this. Or my people do this. So I just, why can't I? Everyone else is doing it. That's when it becomes hard. I still want to be half cool and still wear tight, gay-looking clothing, right? The boys, right? They want to be halfway cool still, but they, They're struggling. They're on the line. They're like, okay, I want to be, but I still want to be looking like a gay guy. That's reality, right, Zubair? I still want to wear clothes that are really tight and gay looking. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Right? What happened to the time where the Muslims were the trendsetters of what to wear and what not to wear? Now we follow them to their ways? SubhanAllah. So we go back to it again, that we have to leave it off. We have to leave it off. You understand? If the deen says no, it's no. Just be Muslim and it will be easy for you. The hard thing is when you're not sure if you want to be Muslim or not. Right? Anytime you have doubts about something, it's always difficult to accomplish it. Right? I'll give you an example. Allah says, what about the Quran? Is the Quran hard to memorize? You sure? Is the Quran hard to memorize? That's the question. That's a question. I'm asking you guys. You guys all memorize the Quran. There's nobody here that's not memorized the Quran. I'm asking you guys who are memorizing the Quran, is it hard to memorize the Quran? Yes or no? There is too many people here to only hear one person answering. Is the Quran hard to memorize? So wait. I didn't ask you what it says in the Quran yet. I'm asking you, is the Quran hard to memorize? You sure? Anybody here think it's hard? طيب, alhamdulillah. So why we don't push ourselves to memorize it hard? Allah said, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ ذِكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ. Allah said He made it easy. For sure it's easy to memorize. What makes it difficult? Because it's not hard, but what makes it difficult to memorize the Quran, Munira? Well, that definitely will make it difficult. Listening to music definitely is going to make it hard to memorize Quran. But sins, period. Anytime you don't focus completely on a goal, it's going to be difficult. Right? Huh? Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If your mind, you tell yourself in your mind that it's difficult. I can't do it. Oh, it's too much. Oh, a whole page. It becomes difficult. But when you focus completely on it, and you put your mind to it, you can accomplish it. The same way that, subhanAllah, for those people who might listen to music, they memorize a whole song after listening to it 3, 4, 5 times, right? It's true. They know the whole thing back and forth. Why? Because they enjoy it. So if you enjoy it, it's not going to be difficult to you. If you enjoy the Quran, it's not going to be difficult. Right? But if you don't enjoy it, it's going to be difficult. And you only don't enjoy it if you don't love it. Okay? So the deen is easy. Let's go back to the hadith. The deen is easy. Can you open this window? It's hot. The deen is easy. Okay? The Prophet ﷺ said, "Inna deen yusr. وَلَنْ يُشَادَ الدِّينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ." SubhanAllah, this is one of the parts of the hadith that is the most amazing. Ooh, alhamdulillah. That feels a lot better, huh? The Prophet ﷺ said, لَنْ يُشَادَ الدِّينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ. This part of the hadith is amazing, especially for us when we're young. I remember, mashallah, we don't have a plug though. Is this a heater? It's amazing that the women have all these type of things over there. We don't have nothing to do. They have all type of assortments and electronic. They probably have like, if we look hard enough, we might find a TV over there. PlayStation. No, they won't have a PlayStation, but they might have a TV. So listen, wait, bring it close here, bro. That's too far. Yeah, but bring it like forward, move forward.
The wire's not long.
It moves forward a little bit more. SubhanAllah. Right there, that's good. Alhamdulillah. MashaAllah. So, that's nice. Look, that's one of the signs of Allah. One thing I love about Syracuse is that Syracuse won't stay hot for more than 4 or 5 days. If it's hot for 3 days, it's going to rain for sure. It's one of the beautiful things that we can ponder about Allah right there. that if it's hot here for 2 days, the third day is going to rain. For sure, inshallah. طيب, so, وَلَنْ يُشَادِّ الدِّينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ. That nobody tries to overcome or to make the deen difficult or do too much except that it's going to overcome them. Right? I remember this from when we were young, right? This is one of the hadiths that allow, especially when you're young. The youth, they always try, when they become active in the deen, they jump head first, right? Alhamdulillah. And they do everything. And then what happens? They're like, whoo. They tire out. Right? You ever see this happen before? I forgot something. What was one of the benefits? There's a benefit that Imam al-Bukhari mentioned in this chapter after he just mentioned. We just finished the chapter. What chapter did we do last week? Does anyone remember? We did the chapters of all those things that this is from Iman, fasting, Ramadan, standing in. All that's from Iman, right? What's the benefit of Imam al-Bukhari now mentioning all these things about ease? To show you that, listen, even though all of this stuff is good and part of Islam, no one's going to be able to do everything. You understand that? Don't kill yourself when you don't accomplish everything. No one, not me, not you, not the greatest scholar that ever lived. No one can do everything in Islam. It just doesn't work that way. Allah didn't set it that way. Some of us were inclined to do more of this. Some of us were able to do more of this. Some of us are able to do more of this, right? Everyone has their pathway. It reminds me of what Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, said. One time a scholar, they wrote Imam Malik, and they said, Imam Malik, why you don't go out and do jihad with the rest of the Muslims, right? You understand what I'm saying to you? He said, Imam Malik, why you don't go out and do jihad with all the rest of the Muslims? Or not with all the rest of them, but why you don't go and do jihad and be a warrior scholar? That's what he said to him, this, right? So Imam Malik, he responded back to him. He said, Allah has divided the acts of good amongst the people. And he has made some people more inclined to do these acts of good, and some people more inclined to do those acts of good, right? So from amongst the people, there's some people who give a lot of sadaqah. They're excellent at giving sadaqah. If you need sadaqah, you know that this person will give you everything that they have. That's their thing, alhamdulillah. And that's their way to Jannah. Some people, they're the warriors. They go fight out in jihad for the sake of Allah. And that's what they're good at. May Allah bless them. Some people, they can pray all night long. And that's what they're good at. Imam Malik said, as for me, I'm a teacher, and this is the path that Allah has made for me to go to Jannah, and I'm happy with that. So everyone can't do the same things. And it's good that we understand that we need some people that's going to pray at night all night. Maybe they'll make dua for us, right? Then you need some people that are going to fight and defend the Muslims, that they'll keep us safe. Then you need some people that are going to teach the Muslims so that we can learn our deen. Then you need some people who are going to spend to be able to fund all of that so that we can continue doing what we have to do. Everyone can't do everything. You need some people who are business people. And the businessman might not become the biggest scholar, right? What happened to that? So, everyone's not going to be able to do all of the deen. Whoever tries to make the deen rough or hard on themselves, it will overcome them. You understand that? And don't we see that so often, right? Maybe you guys haven't seen it, but I've seen it myself a lot. Sometimes you'll see a person, they'll come into the deen, and they become so serious, and they want to do this, and they want to jump off the roof, and they want to go do that. And then 5 weeks later, you say, what happened to the brother who was jumping off the roof, making... They say, oh, right now he's in the club. What happened? He did too much. And he went outside of what was supposed to be done, because the deen is easy. Build up to everything. You don't jump in and all of a sudden now, yesterday you became Muslim, tomorrow you're the imam. Oh, so where did he come from? Mars? That's pretty rough, you know. Today you became Muslim, tomorrow you're memorizing Sahih al-Bukhari. That's not how it works. Today you became Muslim and tonight no. You have to allow the deen to come to you. It's going to come. Do the obligations. Without a doubt, you can't miss any obligations. You can't do the haram. But it doesn't mean you're going to do every voluntary act. Right? Everyone can't do every voluntary act. Right? Does that make sense? Allah didn't tell us to what? Pray all night. He said, what? Read just a little bit from the night. Right? Do something. He didn't tell us to fast all year. Even the voluntary fasts are not all year. Monday and Thursday. 3 times a month. Right? He didn't tell us to do what? You know, subhanAllah, there's so many different things that Allah didn't tell us to do. He didn't tell you to go spend all your money. He said you give some from sadaqah. Right? So the deen is easy. Don't make it difficult on yourself that today, you know, now you feel so righteous and you say, oh, I'm going to spend my rent money. And now you're homeless. Right? That's not what Islam tells you to do. So Allah give what you can. Right? So don't make the deen difficult on yourself. Because most of the time when people do that, it tires them out. And they can't finish it. As the Prophet says in another hadith, "Istaqimu wa lan tuhsu." Be upright, but you'll never be able to do everything. Right? Wa lan tuhsu. You'll never be able to encompass the whole deen. But be upright. Istaqimu. Just walk straight. Nobody told you to fly. Right? Allah didn't burden you to fly. He said be upright. Be straight. Walk on a straight path. Run if you can. But you don't have to fly. Sorry? There's a question, then there's an answer, inshallah. What's the question? Huh? Is it what? A big sin on Imam al-Bukhari? I say Imam Malik, number one. Is it a sin on Imam al-Malik for not making jihad? No, because there's two types of jihad. There's the jihad that's obligatory and the jihad that's not obligatory. That's the first thing we have to know about. The jihad that's obligatory is when there's a threat coming to the Muslim land, right? Every able-bodied person has to get up to defend the land. That's obligatory, right? Then there's the jihad, what they call jihad talabi, when the Muslim ruler is sending out people to go expand the lands of the Muslims so they can give more da'wah and so on and so forth. That's a jihad that they call voluntary inscription. That they ask the people, who wants to come? And then you start reading the different ahadith that speak about the virtue of jihad and so on and so forth. That jihad is not obligatory. That's the jihad that you encourage the people to go to under the Muslim leader, not any chaotic stuff, right? But under a Muslim leader that has designated that there's going to be jihad in that area. So that Muslim leader, right, legal Muslim leader, then calls out to the people and says, they're going out for jihad. Who wants to go? Right? That one is not obligatory. That's the one that he was referring to. The obligatory jihad, again, is that every able-bodied man, right, and even woman at that time sometimes, right? Because when your life is on the line, everyone has to fight. Does that make sense? If your life, someone was to run into the masjid right now, right? Pay attention to what I'm saying closely because we don't want this to be misconstrued. If someone was to run into the masjid trying to harm us, all of us are obligated to defend this place, to defend our lives, right? That's obligatory. But there is no reason that we can all say we have to go outside and fight somebody. There's nothing there's nothing like that. But if someone was to come in and try to harm us, to kill us, then we're obligated to defend ourselves, right? Even the women. They throw their pins, do whatever they can do, right? But everyone has to fight. Nobody should just go and run at that time. Does that make sense? Because your life is on the line. That makes sense or not? So that was the jihad that Imam Malik was talking about that he didn't go out for. It was the jihad talabi. That it's not obligatory on everyone to go for. But this virtue is to go. But he was showing that everyone, but even Allah tells you in the Quran, right? That let them stay behind a group from the people to teach the people, right? Those are the jihad when it's not obligatory like that. So that some of the people stay behind. Everyone doesn't just run out to go. And then there's nobody to teach the people and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? طيب. So then the Prophet ﷺ, he said, فَسَدِّدُوا وَقَارِبُوا. فَسَدِّدُوا, it means try to hit the mark. Hit the mark. Become correct in your action. Do it the right way in accordance to the sunnah. And if you can't do it the absolute right way, then وَقَارِبُوا, and at least get close. At least get close. Right? Don't try to overcome the deen because you can't overcome the deen. It's too wide. There's so much good that could be done in Islam. No one's going to be able to do it all. What's the benefit of it being so much good to be done in Islam? Huh? What's the benefit? Yeah, fuqaha.
So that everyone could do good depending on their ability.
MashaAllah. So everyone has a chance to get some money. Right? What if there's only one job in the whole country? Everyone can't do the same job, right? Can everyone be an accountant? No, some people's mind doesn't work like that. Some people, they're good at working in a factory. They can lift stuff, they can put stuff together, but they can't do math. Can everyone be a doctor? No. But can everyone be a soldier? No. Some people, they're just not meant to be like that. They're not rough people. They're just a doctor. They just want to heal people and just be nice. Hey, let me fix that for you. MashaAllah. That's his thing. Can everyone be a teacher? No. So Allah has made it so many different aspects of good in Islam that everyone finds something that suits their nature. Right? Maybe she doesn't want to be a doctor, but she could be a great wife. That's a huge reward. The women don't think they're like, oh, I don't want to just be a wife. But do you know how much reward it is in being just a wife? Really? Do we really realize that? I'll ask you a question. I remember one sheikh who mentioned this, right? How do you know if a woman is good or not? Ladies, this is a question for you all. What makes a woman good? Huh?
She makes you fear Allah.
She makes you fear Allah? I agree. A woman, if you find a woman that can help you fear Allah, she's an excellent woman. May Allah bless her. All right? That's excellent. Yes, true. How she takes care of the home? No, not so much just like that. Women and men are different. Right? Men have a bigger role to play in society. So Allah has commanded them to do certain things that He hasn't obligated the woman to do. Is it obligatory for a woman to work? No, she's not obligated to take care of herself. Do we realize that the woman is not obligated to take care of herself? Is it obligatory for a woman to be a teacher? Imam? Sheikh? Scholar? Is it? No. If she does become a Sharee'ah, excellent. Beautiful. We need women scholars. Is it obligatory for a woman to be a doctor? No, but it'd be excellent if we have women that can take care of women issues, right? So what do we say? What's the qeema of a woman? What's the worth of a woman? Her value. What did Allah put on her? Huh? It's not just stay home. Listen, if we ever want to know something, we should refer it back to Allah and His Messenger, right? What did Allah and His Messenger say? He said, إذا أطاعت, he said, إذا صلت مرأة خمسها, right? وإذا صلت مرأة لخمسها وصامت شهرها وحفظت فرجها وأطاعت زوجها قيل لها أدخل الجنة بأي أبواب الشئت. Look at that, 4 things. How difficult is it for the ladies just to do these 4 things? SubhanAllah. They want to be all over the moon. They want to be astronauts when Allah has made it so easy for them to get into Jannah. The man got to fight. He got to do some other stuff. But Allah made it easy. One of the ulama I'm going to tell you is a benefit of what I'm saying for this. I'm not just telling the women just to stay home. That's not what I'm saying. There's a benefit of what I'm going to tell you, inshallah. The Prophet ﷺ said if the woman prays her 5 salawat, 5 salawat, she fasts the month of Ramadan, she protects her private parts, she doesn't commit zina, she's modest, she's chaste, right? And she obeys her husband, tell her that she can enter into Jannah by any door she wants. Do you hear that? Do we want Jannah, Asma? Yes, right? So what do we have to do? 4 things. Not us, you guys. You guys win today. 4 things. What are they? Pray your 5. He didn't even mention tahajjud. He didn't even mention qiyam al-layl, tarawih, nothing. Pray 5, not even the sunnah with a wild tip. Just pray 5 times a day. What else? Fast the month of Ramadan, not even the sunnah days. What else? How does she protect? Because we say this time, hafidat farajaha. What does that mean, hafidat farajaha? Does it mean literally just that she doesn't commit zina, or she doesn't do the things that lead to zina also? Right? Because zina is one thing, but there's also things that lead to it. So she might lock herself at home, right? She never lets anyone inside of her home, but she's on Facebook shaking and waking. Is she hafidat farajaha? She's on the Snapchat getting at it. Right? She has Snapchat. They say she's a snap queen. But no one can come in her home at all. She has chains and locks on the door. Is she having the photo Sharee'ah? Honestly, is she? Can't nobody get to her. But she's on Snapchat. She has no hijab on, dancing, shaking, singing, whatever. No, she's not. Wa ta'at zawjaha, and she obeys her husband. It said, enter in the Jannah any door that you want. What's the benefit of mentioning this hadith for the ladies? What's the benefit? What's the benefit? Come on, ladies, what is the benefit? Huh? What? What's the benefit of this hadith, or me mentioning this hadith right now, in regards to what we were just talking about? How to get to Jannah? No, that's not the benefit. Huh? I can't hear you guys. What's the benefit? One, the benefit is that we learn that the psychological and deen makeup for the woman and man is different. The woman has different things that go on in her life that might make her not be able to do certain things. So Allah has eased it for her. He doesn't make her to go to jihad. He doesn't make her to go to work. She might get pregnant, right? She has a husband, right? He doesn't make her become the president. Her path to Jannah has become eased for her due to other certain things that come into her life, right? But for her, she has to take hold onto those things. How many women can't even accomplish these 4 things? Don't pray, right? They don't fast sometimes. How many women fall short of these 4 simple things? But it's easy. This is where we're talking about the deen being easy, right? So focus on that which will help you get to Jannah, and if you accomplish that, then go above and beyond. Do you see the point of me mentioning that now? That we have to be the type of people to focus on finishing our duties first. We have duties that are unfinished and incomplete, right? Focus on completing our duties, then we work on going higher and above and beyond. Does that make sense? Yes or no? So it doesn't mean that the woman can't go and become scientist of the year. But first, make sure you took care of your duties. That makes sense or not? So if we want Jannah, Jannah hasn't been made hard for us. The problem is that our focus isn't correct. You ever take a picture and you're trying to get it to focus? You say, what? It's not, blurry. That's how some of us live our lives, blurry. We're everywhere except where we should be. Right? That's what the meaning of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said what? Min husn al-Islam al-mar'i tarakuhu ma la ya'nihi. Al-mafhum al-mukhalafa from this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said from the good of a person's Islam is if they don't pay attention to that which doesn't concern them. So the other opposite understanding that we take from this hadith is that if a person wants their Islam to be good, they learn how to focus on what they should focus on. Does that make sense? So many times, the ladies, men too, they're everywhere and they haven't fulfilled their basics. The things that concern them, they don't even take care of it. And they're everywhere worried about other things, right? How many people right now are concerned about what's happening in Saudi Arabia? They say, oh, in Saudi Arabia they're doing this, doing this. Does it really concern us here in America? Focus on what we're doing. We're falling short. Most of the people that you see complaining about Saudi Arabia, they don't even pray on time. True, right? Focus on what's going on in our personal lives on a day-to-day basis, and your Islam will be good. But your Islam will not become good if you're concerned about everything that is not your business. Simply put. That's the ease of Islam. So then the Prophet ﷺ said, continuing, فَسَدِدُوا وَقَارِرُوا وَأَبْشِرُوا. Abshiru of what? Abshiru means listen, don't worry, everything is good. Abshir. Be happy, chill, relax, abshiri, right? It's one of the beautiful words to say to each other. I remember when I was with a sheikh in Ethiopia, and I said, subhanAllah, I always knew the word abshir, but I never really knew how to use it properly, right? Like, I like the word, it's a nice word, but when I was with the sheikh, everything he said was abshir, don't worry, abshir. He said abshir, abshir, abshir. Abshir, akhi, abshir. I said, man, is everything abshir? But then I realized, I said, subhanAllah, everything is abshir. Relax. You know what abshir means? Who knows what abshir means? It means akuna matata.
I knew where he was going.
No, I wasn't going to say that actually. But it does mean, that's good fiqh. It does mean akuna matata. But it means وَيَرْجُونَ رَحْمَةُ وَيَخَافُونَ وَيَرْجُونَ رَحْمَةُ وَيَخَافُونَ عَذَابًا. It's between the two of these. Right? That you fear the punishment of Allah, but you hope in His reward. You're between two of them. You're not like the Khawarij and all you're talking about is fear, 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 fear. Oh, fear, 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 fear. No, that can't be easy, man. There's some mercy from Allah too, right? But you're not like the Murji'ah who also say, don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, don't just commit sins, don't worry, Allah got. No, you're in between the two. Abshir. You're doing good, you're doing your salat, you're doing abshir, akhi, to be good, don't worry, right? Sister, you're covering, you're staying away from haram, you're praying your five, you're making us abshir, you don't have nothing to worry about. Do we understand what abshir means? Well, abshiru, the Prophet ﷺ said. You're doing your job, now just hope that Allah will accept it from you. If you're doing your job, all you have to do now is hope that Allah will accept it from you. You've already stayed away from the haram. You're already fulfilling the obligation. Now, abshiru. Have good hope. Have good feeling. Be happy. Right? You know how hard it is for today for people to just be happy? That's like a major crime. Someone be happy, like, yo, what are you talking about? Be happy. I don't want to be. Abshir. Take it easy. Relax. Akuna matata. Dip malaha. Right? It's no problem, man. Just take it easy. We don't got to fight. I don't want to knock you out. Abshir. Wallah, if we just learn something from today, learn that. Abshir. And that's something that we should utilize when talking to each other. He said, abshir, don't worry. Person telling you their person, abshir, don't worry. No, abshir. Everything is going to be okay. That reminded me, just remember this hadith, it reminded me that's something we should take into practice. And there's good words to use to each other. It's good practice to say this to each other. Because the believer should always try to bring bushra up for their brother. Say, man, you know how it makes your heart feel when you hear somebody say, no, abshir, you know, and they mean it, they smile, say, abshir, alhamdulillah. Everything's going to be okay. Okay? So the Prophet ﷺ said, well, abshiru. And have good tidings. Think good. Be happy. It's a command too. Well, abshiru is a command. Right? And have good tidings. Have good feelings. Think good. Feel good. I learned yesterday in my book, we were studying hijama, right? And in the book it told us that disease, you know what disease means? Everybody knows marad, right? The English word disease, do you know what it means?
Disease.
Of course you know. Come on, you can't do that. I'm not the answer. What does disease mean? What does disease mean? Okay, who knows what ease means? You know what ease means? Ease, the word ease. If I say be at ease, what does that mean? Huh? What? I can't hear you. What? Be relieved. Yep, that is relieved. Be at ease means be relieved. Be happy, right? Be stress-free, right? That's what be at ease means. Don't stress. It really means abshir, right? Be at ease means abshir. That's a great translation for abshir, actually. It just came to me. Abshir, be at ease. Now, disease means what? Dis-ease. A state of not being at ease. You understand that now? When you're not at ease, it's called dis-ease, disease. The doctors, they said, the scholars of doctorness, of health, of medicine, right? The scholars of medicine, they say that 95% of disease comes from stress. 95% of disease comes from stress. Because when you're stressed, your body is at a heightened state all the time. You know your body has what they call the flight or fight system. So when you're always ready to, what's going to happen? Am I going to fight? Am I going to run? Am I going to fight? Am I going to run? Your body goes into a physical transition where your blood leaves the top of the skin and it goes in to protect certain vital organs. So now if your body is like this all the time, you're like this, You're at dis-ease. And now it makes it easy for you to get disease. Does that make sense? So the point of me saying that is what? Abshir. Be at ease. And everything will be okay. Smile. Abshir. You know how good it is to just smile? Wa alaykum as-salam. Wa alaykum as-salam. So, continuing, we said, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالْغَدْوَةِ excuse me. وَعَلَيْكُمْ السَّلَامُ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ. And he said, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالْغَدْوَةِ وَالرَّوْحَ وَالشَّيْءٍ مِّنَ الدُّلْجَةِ. And he said, seek help on this path, because now we're talking about what again? About how to be Muslim. How to live in a life of test. Because you're going to be tested in this life, correct? How to stay firm upon Islam is to just be at ease with it. Work hard. After you work hard, hope that Allah will accept it. Don't work hard and just, oh. No. When you do your best, like when you take a test, right? Once you do your best on the test, after that, put the pencil down. I did my best. There's nothing else I could do. Right? The best test takers are not always the smartest person. It's the person that knows how to relieve their stress the best. Did you know that? Somebody could be a genius and fail their test. They know all the answers. But when they get that pencil in their hand, they forget everything because they're so stressed out. Oh, what is 1 + 1? Right? I think it's 7, 8. Oh, I don't know. And they don't even get to the rest of the test. They stayed on that 1 + 1 answer for 2 hours. So we have to be the type of people that be at ease. So that's how we live the deen. Right? A deen yusr. Do your best and hope that Allah will accept it from you. Right? وَلَنْ يُشَادْ دِينَ أَحَدٌ إِلَّا غَلَبَهُ. No one makes the deen difficult, tight, stressful, except that the deen overcomes them. And you don't see them being upright 3 months later. Right? And then the Prophet said, فَسَدِّدُوا وَقَارِبُوا. Try to hit the mark. And if you can't hit the mark, at least come close. Don't give up. That's another point that we learned from it. Just because you can't hit directly on the mark, it doesn't mean give up. وَقَارِبُوا. At least get close. Right? وَأَبْشِرُوا. And then be at ease. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالْغَدْوَةِ. Right? Now, what does that mean? وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالْغَدْوَةِ. It means the ghadwa is that time in the morning time, right? That's right where it's cool in the morning. You know that time in the morning time where it's not so high anymore, it's cool, and everything. Even the earth just seems like everything is okay at that time, right? So the Prophet ﷺ is giving us an example of traveling. The desert Arabs, when they used to travel, they used to say the best time, these are the best times to travel. That cool time in the morning, or at that time that the roha, or at the time that the time right after Dhuhr. Like you said, if you go to the hot places, nobody wants to be outside at Dhuhr time. So they say travel either early in the morning time, right, when it's cool, or right after Dhuhr, where the sun is starting to go down and it's not as hot anymore, right? Well, Sharee'ah min ad-dulja. And as well, at nighttime. But not all of night, because you got to sleep. So you don't have to travel at the whole nighttime. Travel in the early morning time. Travel at the time where it becomes cool. What does this mean in regards to the hadith, though, that we're talking about now? Pick the times that you're most active. Right? What does that mean? Do things. You don't have to do it the whole night. We're not commanded to pray the whole night. Pray a part of the night. Do things. Pick the times. Take assistance from doing things at times when you're most active. Learn yourself. Right? Be at ease. Take time to do things in the right way. Right? Don't be all over the place. Be methodical. That I know that, okay, this I can get most rewards at this time, so let me take that time. I don't got to do it all day, but let me get most rewards I can get at that time. Let me take most rewards I can take at this time. I don't have to do it all day. Take your time and pick it out properly. And the most beloved deeds to Allah are the ones that are most consistent, even if they're only small. We learn from there, right? Doesn't mean that you have to do everything, but be consistent upon what you're able to do. If you're able to read 10 pages of Quran every day, then do 10 every day, but don't stop. Don't be the type of person that today you do everything, right? Tomorrow you don't do nothing. Does that make sense? Today, you prayed all your sunnah rawatib, you read 3 juz of Quran, right? You memorized 5 pages of Quran, you gave $100 in sadaqah, and then tomorrow, you got Drake playing. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Don't be that person. Make yourself travel the path. Just like don't be the person, right, that you drive 90 miles per hour and then later on you drive 30. If you're going to run, run. But keep running. Be able to run. Otherwise, drive 65 and just stay at 65. Because if you drive 90 now and 30 later, it really equals staying at 65 anyway. Right? So why not just drive 65? But now if you can drive 90 and keep up to 90, that's different. Right? But no. We don't recommend people to drive 90. But anyway, the point is, right? Don't go back and forth. That's what it means. Do the things that you can keep up with. Right? And don't let yourself become an extremist. Extremism happens in 2 ways. Extremism happens in 2 ways. Islam is completely against extremism. Extremism is the path of shaitan. Understand that clearly. We just see what the deen says, right? The deen says, ad-deen yusr. So if the deen is easy, what is extremism? It's not from the deen, right? What is extremism? Somebody tell me what is extremism. What is extremism?
To do something without being equal, without being balanced, something that's unbalanced.
Going too far. You've exceeded the boundaries. Extremism that you went further than is permissible. You went past the limits. But extremism happens in 2 ways. It goes in you going too far, and it also comes you not going far enough. Neglect, it's called, right? You're not doing enough. Either you're not doing enough, or you've done too much. Either way, from the path of shaitan. The middle path is to be al-wasatiyya, is to be in the middle. That's Islam. Okay? To be in the middle. Because you can stay there. Even if you, check out the middle. If you're in the middle, even if you go up a little bit, right? When you get a little tired, just go down a little bit. Right? If you go down a little bit, you just got to go back up a little bit. But if you go way up here, when you fall, you don't have no middle, you don't have no ground to stay at. So stay in the middle, inshallah. Tight? Any questions? Huh? Any questions?
You know, regarding the extremism, I think there's no extremism in Islam,
No, there's not.
right?
But people are extremists.
No,
Islam is not extremist at all, right? As the Prophet, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, what's this ayah? Forget it. What's this ayah? It's on the first page, it's on the first page of the second juz of Al-Baqarah. Somebody recite this first page. What's the second ayah on that page? Anybody remember? I'm forgetting the ayah. Oh, وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. No, that's the ayah. وَجَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا. Right? لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. Right? So Allah said, we made you a ummah, and wasata doesn't just mean middle, it means adl, it means just. We made you a just nation. That's important to understand too. I'm glad you brought that up. What does it mean that we're a balanced nation, a wasat nation? What does it mean? It means that you're just. What is justice? وَضَعَ شَيْءٍ فِي مَوْضِعِهِ. That you put everything in its proper place. Islam is a religion of justice. It's not a religion of equality. You understand the difference? Islam does not believe in equality, it believes in justice. Do you understand the difference or not? Because man and woman are not equal. Child and father are not equal. Mother and child are not equal, right? But there's justice. Everyone deserves what they should get. Everyone deserves to be placed where they deserve to be placed. Is the half of Quran the same as the one who only knows one ayah? Yes or no? No, it's impossible. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raises the people by this book. Is the one who spends $1 million in sadaqah sincerely like the one who gave $1? And they both are sincere, we're saying. But they both had $1 million. So we're not talking about the one who only has $1 million. We're talking about the one who had, they both had the same amount of money, but one gave $1 million and one gave $1. It's not the same, right? So Islam believes in justice. Tayyib? Any other questions? هذا وصلى الله عليه وسلم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. What's the deal with these cookies?
Let me get those.